We're going to get over to Ashley Beatty. She is tracking Irma with another update for us. How's it looking, Ashley?
All right, still dealing with those strong gusty winds, but we've seen the path shift a little bit since this morning. So if you're just now checking in, we have shifted this a little bit more toward the east, which will likely make this not the worst case scenario for Tampa Bay. We're not going to see this come farther up the coast before making landfall. It's likely to do that near Marco Island, and then it will start to weaken, not significantly, but it will take it down a notch before it actually reaches into the Tampa Bay area. If we could go ahead and switch over to weather 1 in the back, I'll show you what the winds are doing. And you can see there is a little bit of dry air to the west. It's kind of trying to take over here. But winds south of Tampa Bay have really started to pick up, even in parts of Sarasota County. But in Fort Myers right now, seeing 66-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that is going to continue to increase. And as we head back toward West Palm, 66-mile-per-hour wind gusts there as well. In Miami, places like Key West, we've actually lost our reporting site, so telling us that those winds are pretty intense. Last report I saw from Miami, though, 74-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and it's likely that that is heading toward Tampa later on today. Right now, strong gusty northeast winds. Eric was showing you those incredible pictures of the Hillsborough River being so low, and all that got basically sent out into the Gulf with those strong northeast winds. But heads up, as this storm moves to the north and those winds switch direction, that water comes right back, plus a lot more with it. That's why we've evacuated those zones A and in many cases B. Folks who have been told that you live in a mobile home and you need to evacuate, you're evacuating because of winds, which are going to pick up significantly during the day today. We're going to start seeing stronger, gustier winds inside these rain bands that are going to be moving through, and at times you're getting that horizontal rain. It's really blowing. We're going to see 40 and 50-mile-per-hour gusts with this, but it's right here. It's in that eye wall where we're going to see the strongest winds, and it looks like for the Tampa-St. Pete area, that could be coming in between maybe the 8th and 9 o'clock hour, but conditions could already be worthy of producing hurricane force winds as early as around 7 o'clock. That's going to be a couple hours earlier for Sarasota and Manatee counties, closer to 5, and then a little bit later as this moves up into the Nature Coast and moving over land, it should be a little weaker than what we're going to see for areas south of I-4. Then as the eye moves over, you get a little bit of a break, so between about midnight and 2, many of us will actually see much lighter winds. It's not going to last long, though, and then we still have to get through the back end of this storm together, which we're going to do because we're all prepared. We've got those preparations in place, and we're going to continue to bring you the very latest on the storm. We're going to be with you all throughout the night tonight and keep you up to date with what's going on outside. By tomorrow afternoon, evening, we do expect that things will start to calm down. Now, we've been talking a lot about the winds because that is going to be our primary threat across pretty much all of the Tampa Bay area. But there is the possibility we are going to get some localized flooding, especially in lower areas, especially near rivers, and potentially in areas where we get training, or what that is basically rain moving over the same area time and time again. So where we see these heavy bands coming through for extended periods of time, that's where we have that potential for flooding. And we do have some numbers that are up over 10 inches. Most of the area looking between about 6 and 9 over the course of the next 36 hours. So yes, some flooding is possible. It will not be catastrophic flooding. We are not talking about a repeat of Harvey. This is a very different storm. This is going to be a wind event, and for some of us, a storm surge event. It will not be a 40, 50 inches of rain event, though. Here's the center of the storm, still just south of Marco Island there. It will likely make landfall somewhere in that area and then kind of bobble up the coast, slowly weakening as it does, but not weakening significantly. So our main threats with this really haven't changed since last night. Still expecting the winds, still expecting those winds between about 70 and 90 miles per hour. Some of us could see gusts close to 100. All of us won't, but all of us are likely to see hurricane force winds, even for a brief period of time, at least right around the Tampa Bay area, right around the coast. Inland, you're still at least talking 60-mile-per-hour winds with this thing. So it is going to be intense. It is going to be an intense 6 or 7 hours. That's really how long we could see the potential for hurricane force winds, and then after that we get the tropical storm force winds coming back a little bit later. Notice it looks a little ragged on the back side of that. That's likely some of that dry air trying to work its way in, but we still have a pretty intact eye right there. So we're not expecting a significant decrease in our winds, but it has come down a little bit since our 11 o'clock observation. Winds are down to 120. So there is some signs that some of that dry air is trying to work its way on in there, kind of right through there. You see maybe a little dip in terms of that moisture, the blue air really indicating a lot of moisture, and then the more orange color indicating that drier air. Now it's still relative, but we're still seeing that to help weakening this a little bit. And then looking back with the shear, that's helping as well. Spaghetti models are in great agreement here. Not seeing any significant fluctuations. Pretty much all of them are in solid agreement. This thing is going right up the coastline. There really has not been much nudge either way since we checked in this morning. So I don't expect the 5 o'clock track from the National Hurricane Center to change very much. And what that means for us is, again, a big wind event tonight, but we are going to be right here with you, and we're going to continue to keep you updated on all of this. I want to send it over now to Alex Miranda, who showed us some incredible pictures just a few moments ago coming out of Miami. Alex, what are you finding right now?
Yeah, a lot more video. I mean, what we're really doing as we wait for this hurricane to show us its full strength here in the Tampa Bay area, we're watching what's happening with our friends down in Miami and what they're experiencing down there. Earlier, I showed you a lot of really dramatic video of the waters just rushing in to downtown Miami. Now we're seeing some possible tornadic activity in that area of the city. I want to show you this first video that we have prepared. Take a look at this. You could just see the winds blowing there. Now I asked Ashley, we can't tell you just from this one photo if that is in fact tornadic activity, but it certainly does look somewhat like it. You can see just that water rushing in there. It looks like a river. Yeah, at the bottom. Now let's get to the next video that we have here. It's the perfect example of the reason why you really have to be, did you see that roof fly off of that building? You have to be in a building that has structural integrity, in a building that was built during the time that building codes were a lot stronger, because you need to be safe. You never know if a roof like that could fall off the building right there. So some scary video right there. Obviously people that are safe in shelters don't have to worry about that. This next video, take a close look. You'll see one of the power lines just blow up like that. Absolutely. And again, another example of why you don't want to walk into floodwaters. Also, you don't know if there's some downed power lines. There are a lot of risks out there. Yeah, you can take a look at that right there. And I'll continue watching all this video online, see what they're dealing with over there. And of course, as Hurricane Irma inches closer to us, I'll be taking a look at all the video that you all are posting online as well. Allison, Reggie?
We know that this hasn't even gotten here yet, and we're going to be telling you things to think about after the storm moves through, but that's such a good reminder of not to go out right away as soon as the storm is over.
You have the biggest desire to want to go out
and see and make sure it's okay.
Let me see what happened to my car. Let me see what happened to my roof. Do not do it. Do not do it. Let's go on over to Ashley Beatty right now.
All right, starting to see some of those really heavy rain bands that I was talking about just a few moments ago. So again, if we could switch over to Weather 1, that's where I'll go ahead and show you the radar, the outer bands that we're seeing from this system, which again, center of the storm, the eye wall right now near Marco Island, but those bands of heavy rain pretty rapidly moving toward the Tampa Bay area. Areas like Lake Placid over into Highlands, Hardee, DeSoto counties, and then back towards Manatee and Sarasota, you're seeing torrential rain right now. It is windy on top of that, so now's the time really. If for some reason you're not inside, you really should be at this point, as should everybody in your family, because it's going to get rough from here. Right now, a little bit of a lull around Tampa and St. Petersburg, but as this migrates to the north over the next hour, we are really going to see those rain rates as well as those wind speeds really beginning to pick up. Now, tornadoes have been a threat. That's going to be a threat that diminishes slowly over the next hour or so. By around 5, 6 o'clock, that's not going to be the norm anymore. We're just going to continue to see the heavy rain. We're not seeing the lightning that we were picking up a little bit earlier, so these storms aren't as high. They're not quite as strong. But what we're getting is just that wrapping around the center of the storm and more of that moisture just being pulled right into the Tampa Bay area. And already we've picked up several inches of rain in some spots. We've still got pretty much all of this to work through. The backside of this storm is a little bit drier. We've seen that dry air really intruding on this thing, and as a result, we're going to see most of the rain during the first half of this storm, but the winds will still be an issue around the back, and for folks in Hillsborough County especially, that's going to be a storm surge issue. So it's at that point we're going to see all that water that we saw from the Hillsborough River. You've seen these incredible pictures from Bayshore where the bay is not there. That's all going to come rushing back in and at a much higher elevation than normal. So that's what we've evacuated for. If you're watching from a friend's home, if you're watching from a shelter and you had to get out of one of those evacuation zones, we didn't ask you to leave because of the winds. It was because of this potential storm surge that unfortunately there's just no way. There's no way to kind of power through it. You really have to get away from it. So continuing to watch these really, really heavy rain bands moving through over the next several hours. All told, it does look like parts of the Bay Area could see anywhere from 8 to 10 inches of rain. There could be a couple of totals that run closer to 12 inches by the time all is said and done. But we're coming into the heart of the rain event, and those winds are not far behind. I think by 5 o'clock, again, if you're in Sarasota, Manatee counties, we can start seeing the potential for tropical storm force winds, possibly even hurricane force wind gusts to come into play with this one. So we're going to continue to watch as it slowly moves to the north, and we're going to keep you up to date with what Hurricane Irma does as it makes its way toward Tampa Bay. Reggie and Allison?
All right, you're starting to see some of those rain bands, some of that heavy rain move through the Bradenton
move in,
area.
yeah.
We have Nina DeSaro. She is live in that area. Nina?